Most people fail in business because they are secretly terrified of annoying their customers, so they never actually ask for the sale.
Rejection is far worse in your mind than it is in reality.
A lot of times we might stray away from opportunities because we're afraid that someone's gonna say no, so why even bother asking?
You see, fear is the greatest single obstacle for success in sales and marketing.
If you truly believe your product can change a life, then holding back and staying quiet is actually an incredibly selfish thing to do. If you do not get over your fear of rejection today, the people who desperately need your help will suffer and your business will completely disappear.
You have a moral obligation to do everything in your power to sell it to as many people as possible. And if you don't sell it to them, they're gonna curse you. But if you do sell it to them, they're gonna bless you.
They can't hurt us. They can't do anything to us physically. So much of that fear is up in our head.
In the early days of Airbnb, the founders were completely broke and living off dry cereal.
I remember for the first 2 years we started the company, I would wake up in the morning and I would just have this kind of panic. Everyone thought it was crazy. No one supported us. We had no money. It was the best weight loss program ever. I probably lost 20 pounds and I didn't have any money for food. And I would wake up in the middle of the morning, like my heart pounding. I was like, how the hell did I get myself in this situation?
Nobody was renting their room, so Brian Chesky did something that most people are terrified to do. He flew to New York, knocked directly on the doors of his few users, and begged them to let him take better pictures of their apartments. He sat in their living rooms and asked them exactly what they hated about his product.
And so we literally would fly during Y Combinator. Joe and I would go to New York and we'd go door to door. We would meet with every one of our hosts and we'd live with them. We literally would live with them. We'd write the first reviews for the places. And in fact, I would go there and I'd be like, wow, the photos are terrible. This is actually a really nice house. And the hosts are like, well, I can't figure out how to get photos onto my computer. And so I went home with Joe and we borrowed a camera from one of our friends in Brooklyn, who was a photographer, and we knocked on the door and they're like, hello, yes, I'm here, the photographer. And they're like, wow, this is a small company. The founder's also photographing my home.
He invaded their personal space and asked hard questions. Because he had the courage to look his customers in the eye, Airbnb went from 0 sales to a multi-billion-dollar empire. Now you might be thinking, well, Brian Chesky, you got lucky, or that flying across the country to knock on doors is completely unrealistic for you. You might be sitting there with no money for a plane ticket and a deep fear of talking to strangers, but you don't need to book a flight to get in front of your customers this year, right? You need to stop hiding behind your logo and start using the tools right in your pocket to have real conversations with people. So let me show you the exact blueprint I would use to go from 0 sales to rich this year. If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. Build a business development show instead of a vanity channel. Most people start creating content in 2026 because they want to go viral. You think you need millions of views to make money. You might think you need a massive audience to get rich. I see this all the time with people who are interested in joining our movement makers and YouTube mastermind programs. But fame does not equal wealth. If you are starting from $0 today, you do not need 1 million subscribers. You need to close high-ticket deals with a small group of people. Instead of making short videos hoping an algorithm saves you, you need to start a business development show. Think about the top 50 people you want to sell your product or service to. If you call them on the phone and pitch them, they will hang up on you. Studies show that cold calling has an incredibly low success rate, with less than 2% of cold calls resulting in a meeting. But if you invite those same 50 people to be a guest on your new interview show, they will say yes. People love talking about themselves. When you interview them, you spend an hour building deep trust. You listen to their problems. How do you actually build this show? You don't need a fancy studio. You just need an interconnection and a free video account. You send them a short, simple message. You tell them you love their work and you want to feature them on your platform, even if it's a brand new channel. Make the message about them, not about you. When they join the call, you ask them about their journey. You ask them about their struggles. You make them feel like a rock star. When people feel heard, they instantly trust you. This is the ultimate secret to selling without selling. You're providing real value first. You're giving them a stage, and in return, you get their attention. When your interview is over, you stop recording and you ask to help be a second opinion on the things that they're working on. Since you just spent an hour making them look amazing, they'll give you an honest answer. You do not push, you just offer a solution. That's how you bypass the gatekeepers. This is how you get straight to the decision maker. You can use this exact strategy to close a $10,000 deal this month. One of our mastermind members used it to close a $13 million deal. You do not need to wait for 1 million subscribers to validate you. You just need the courage to reach out to the first person on your list. And if you need help, you can join our Movement Makers program. You can check it out by visiting our homepage. Give yourself permission to be terrible at the start. So you're probably sitting there thinking your camera is not good enough, your lighting is bad, or you don't have a fancy background. You're letting perfectionism keep you completely broke. Perfectionism is just fear, right? It's just wearing a nice mask. Psychology shows that perfectionists often experience extreme procrastination because they are terrified of failing in front of other people. When you start from zero, your videos are going to be terrible. Your sales pitches are going to be really awkward. Your website is going to look pretty cheap. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. When I started making videos, it took me 350 videos before I can even watch myself without cringing. 350 videos of me looking terrible and sounding awkward. But I put in the volume of repetition. I did not wait for the perfect moment. I just kept posting. Why do you care so much about what other people think? You're letting the fear of judgment stop you from changing your family's financial future. You're worried that your old high school friends might laugh at your videos, but those people, they're not paying your bills right now. Those people are not going to fund your dream. You have to stop caring about the opinions of people who are not in the arena with you. Every massive creator you watch today started out making absolute garbage, but they did not quit. They understood that volume of repetition is the way to build the skill. When you learn to ride a bike, you expect to fall off. You do not quit after the first fall. Business is the exact same thing. It's just a skill. And the only way to get better at a skill is to practice it. And you practice it publicly. So record your first video today. Write your first email today. Make your first pitch to somebody today. It will be bad. Accept it. Own it. Celebrate it. Because getting that first terrible attempt out of the way is the only way to get your second attempt. Your second attempt will be slightly better. Awesome. Your 10th attempt will be decent. Your 100th attempt will be great. But you will never reach greatness if you refuse to take that first messy step. Your perfectionism is just a fancy excuse for hiding. So it's time to step out of the shadows and let the world see you try. Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just check the link in the description below to go grab it. I'll see you there. Copy the rise and ignore the result. When people try to get rich, they usually look at what billionaires are doing right now. You might see a massive entrepreneur and try to copy their current habits. You think you need a 4-hour morning routine, a team of 50 people, and a massive marketing budget. But copying their current success will destroy your business right now. You need to copy their rise, right? Not the result. You need to look at what they did when they were completely broken in your shoes. When I was 19 years old, I was struggling to build my first software company. I was making $300 a month. I was totally stuck. So I looked at Bill Gates. I did not look at what he's doing right now as a billionaire. I looked at what he did when he was getting started in his business. I learned that he picked up the phone and sold his software to a company called MITS before the software was even built. He did not wait for everything to be perfect. He just sold his vision. Research shows that studying the early struggles and failures of successful people dramatically increases your own resilience and your motivation. So find someone who has built the exact business that you want to build. Study their first year. What were their first products? How did they get their first 10 customers? How many times did they fail? Map out their exact early strategies and apply them to your business today. If you model the actions of people who have already walked the path, you do not have to guess. You can just follow the blueprint that they left behind. You have to reverse engineer their success. You have to go back in time, read their earliest blog posts, watch their very first YouTube videos, look at the grainy, out of focus footage from 10 years ago. This is where the real lessons are hidden. You will see their fear. You will see their awkwardness. You will see the raw hustle that actually built their foundation. When I studied Bill Gates, I realized he didn't have a massive team when he made his biggest move. He was just a college student. He called a computer company and told them he had a program for their machine, but he hadn't written a single line of code yet. He sold the concept first, and then he worked day and night to build it before the meeting. That's the kind of bold, messy action that creates the starting points of wealth. You don't need to have everything perfectly aligned. You just need to sell the vision and then work on delivering your promise. So pick 3 heroes today. Dig into their past. Find out exactly what they did when they had $0 in their bank account. Write down those actions. Make those actions your exact playbook for the next 90 days. Ignore where they are right now and obsess over where they started. Turn your deepest pain into your biggest pitch. Now, you might be trying to sell something that you do not actually care about just because you think that it will make you rich. But In today's economy, consumers are completely blind to fake enthusiasm. They can tell when you are just trying to take their money. If you want to build massive wealth from zero, your purpose must come from your pain. The most profitable businesses are built by entrepreneurs who are solving a problem that they personally suffered through. When you sell a solution that changed your own life, you do not have to memorize a sales script. Your passion is completely real. Customers who feel an emotional connection to a brand have a 306% higher lifetime value. Most entrepreneurs fail because they are acting like mercenaries. They are just chasing the next shiny object. You hear that real estate is hot, so you try real estate. Then you hear that software is hot, so you try software. But you have no actual connection to the industry. And then when things get hard, and things will always get hard, you quit because you only cared about the money. But to get rich, you have to be a missionary, not a mercenary. You have to care deeply about the problem that you are solving. So think about the darkest moments of your life. Think about the times that you felt completely hopeless. How did you get out of that hole? What books did you read? What strategies did you use? What mindset shifts did you make? That journey is your greatest asset. You possess specific knowledge that millions of people right now are desperately looking for. You know exactly what they are feeling because you felt it too. When you build a business around solving your own past problems, your marketing becomes incredibly powerful. You do not need to use sleazy sales tactics. You just need to tell your truth. You just need to say, I was exactly where you are, and this is how I escaped. People do not buy features, they buy hope. They buy a better version of themselves. When you offer a genuine lifeline based on your own pain, price becomes less relevant. People will pay you whatever you ask because they trust that you actually understand them. Turn your past struggles into your ultimate superpower. Ruthlessly audit your environment and your inputs. You cannot build a rich life if your mind is constantly filled with cheap thoughts. Most people, they wake up, they grab their phone, and they immediately start scrolling through negative news and mindless social media. They let the world dictate their mood before they even get out of bed. If your environment is designed to keep you distracted, you will never get rich. You have to ruthlessly audit what goes into your brain. If you're serious about making millions of dollars, you need to surround yourself with greatness. If you do not have successful friends in real life, that's okay for now. You can borrow them online. I put successful entrepreneurs in my ear every single morning. I call it a believe walk. I wake up, I spend at least 15 minutes outside, and I listen to a successful entrepreneur. I read their stories, I watch their speeches. Studies prove that social contagion is real, meaning your behaviors and emotions are directly shaped by the people that you observe and interact with. Your brain is a sponge. It absorbs the energy, the words, and the beliefs of whatever is around you. If you spend your day listening to people who complain about the economy, you will start complaining about the economy. If you spend your day watching videos of people who are gossiping and telling stories, your mind will stay small. You have to treat your attention like your most valuable financial asset. You have the power to curate a completely custom environment for your success. You can choose your mentors, even if you never meet them in person. I want Steve Jobs in my ear. I want Howard Schultz in my ear. I want people who have changed the world speaking directly to me every single day. I try not to let random chance decide my mood. I manufacture my own inspiration. You need to build a routine that forces you to feel powerful. So before you look at your email, you check your text messages, put on a video that fires you up and get outside. Join the Believe Walk Challenge. Listen to a story of someone who overcame massive odds. Fill your mind with evidence that the impossible is actually possible. When you do this consistently, you physically rewire your brain. You start to expect success. You start to act with bolder confidence. You stop playing small because your environment is constantly reminding you of how big you can actually be. So protect your mind at all costs. Cut out the negativity, shut down the doubt, and flood your brain with pure, relentless belief. Once you change your inputs, you change your outputs. But having all the right strategies will not matter if you forget the most important truth of all. The one choice you must make today. Your lack of money is just a reflection of your lack of belief. The world desperately needs a specific magic that only you have inside you. So stop waiting for the perfect time and start trusting your own greatness right now. You already have everything you need to build a massive life today. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Now let's learn the 20 laws of money to get rich. Law number 1, money follows value. Money isn't random, it's the reward for solving problems. Wealth is built not on what just excites you, but on what you create that serves others. The more value you deliver, the more dollars will chase you. It's that simple. Think of entrepreneurs like Elon Musk or Sarah Blakely. They got rich by fixing pain points for millions. You want money? Stop chasing cash and start chasing problems to solve. When you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. That's a law of the universe. Law number 2, adopt a wealth mindset, not a lottery mindset. Getting rich starts in your head. If deep down you believe money is evil or not for people like me, you'll unconsciously push it away. Newsflash, luck won't save you. 70% of lotto winners blow it, and a third end up bankrupt because they didn't change their mindset. Self-made millionaires, on the other hand, think differently. They believe they deserve success and can learn whatever skills wealth requires. So, not the excuses like, I'm not smart enough, I came from nothing, and replace that with, why not me? Train yourself to see money as a positive force, a tool you can master. Your mind is your biggest asset or liability. Choose to make it an asset. Law number 3, purpose over profit, but money in your top 5. Money itself isn't the end goal. Freedom, impact, and purpose are. I always say making money is great. It has to be in your top 5. It just can't be number 1. If you chase only dollars, you'll burn out or compromise your values. Instead, chase a mission and use money as motivation. Think of companies like Patagonia or Tesla, mission driven, but they still prioritize revenue to fund that mission. Here's the balance. Care more about your impact and your income, but respect money enough to plan for it. Money in your top 5 means you price your product right, you monetize your skills, you track your revenue, because you know profit powers your purpose. When your why is strong, the money follows, and when the money comes, you push it back into your why. That's how world-changing businesses and lives are built. Law number 4, pay yourself first. The first bill you pay each month should be to yourself. Before rent, before groceries, invest in your future. Siphon a chunk of every paycheck into savings or investments immediately. This habit needs to become a non-negotiable. Why? Because wealth doesn't come from what you make, it comes from what you keep and grow. It's the classic millionaire habit. Nearly half of self-made millionaires save 20% or more of their income from day one. That requires discipline and delayed gratification, skipping some short-term treats so future you can win. Psychology proves this. The famed marshmallow test showed that kids who delayed gratification ended up more successful in life. The same goes for money. So automate your savings. Treat it like a tax that you owe yourself. If you can't pay yourself, you'll always be paying someone else. Law number 5, live below your means. I know this sounds basic, but it's amazing how many people ignore it. Don't spend all you earn, and definitely don't spend more than you earn. Hello, credit cards. The rich stay rich by living like they're broke. The broke stay broke by acting rich. Studies of millionaires show they're frugal. 64% live in modest homes, 55% buy used cars, nearly all of them vacation cheaply, and 84% refuse to gamble with their money. They aren't clipping coupons for fun. They just know that every dollar wasted is a dollar that can't work for them. So yes, reward yourself occasionally, but don't inflate your lifestyle with your income. Grow into your wealth. Don't blow it. As your earnings climb, keep your expenses in check. This creates a gap, the golden gap, that you can invest to generate real wealth. Law number 6, avoid bad debt. Leverage the good debt. There are 2 kinds of people, those who pay interest and those who earn interest. To get rich, you want to be the second kind. Credit card balances, payday loans, buying a Ferrari on finance, that's bad debt. It will chain you down. The average credit card interest will eat your future alive. So here's your rule. Never borrow to buy depreciating crap. Use debt only when it's a tool to acquire an asset that pays you back. In simple terms, an asset puts money in your pocket, a liability takes money out of your pocket. Your home, for example, can be a liability if it's draining cash. Meanwhile, a rental property or business loan can be good debt if managed well because they generate income. The rich strategically use other people's money to multiply their wealth, but they respect the risks and have a plan to pay it off. Be very real with yourself. If the thing you want to buy won't earn or save you money, don't go into debt for it. Law number 7, let compound interest work. Start investing now. Time is your greatest ally or your worst enemy in building wealth. Every day you delay investing is cash left on the table. Why? Compound interest, the snowball effect of money earning on top of itself. Albert Einstein supposedly called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So here's a quick example. If you invest $1,000 at 10%, you'll earn $100 a year. Not bad. But if you reinvest at $100 next year, you earn 10% on $1,100, not just $1,000. That's $110. And now you have $1,210. Keep rolling that over, and in 10 years, that $1,000 turns into nearly $2,600 without adding a penny. All from reinvesting on compounding. Start earning, and it's like planting an orchard instead of a single tree. Don't wait for enough money to invest. Even $50 a month invested now beats $500 a month started 10 years later. Small seeds become giant oaks, but you must plant them now. Law number 8, create multiple streams of income. One stream of income is one point of failure. If that stream dries up, job loss, one client leaves, industry shifts, your financial life sinks. The wealthy know this, so they build boats with multiple engines. It's often said the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. And while your number may vary, the idea is diversification. It could be a side hustle, investments, rental incomes, royalties, a second business, you name it. In one study, 65% of millionaires had at least 3 income streams, and nearly a third had 5 or more. So start with one strong income. This is where most people get it wrong when they're thinking have multiple streams of income. You don't have 7 all from the beginning, because then you will diversify your energy out of any real wealth. So you start with one strong income, master it, and then add another. Each new stream is a layer of security and a force multiplier for your wealth. Importantly, build active income, so business, career, and passive incomes, which is investments and assets. Do them together. Don't rely on a single paycheck or a single customer. Spread your bets and create income while you sleep. Law number 9, make money while you sleep. That's passive income. If you earn only money when you're personally working, you'll never escape the grind. You need income that doesn't require your constant presence. Warren Buffett said it best: if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And that's not hyperbole, that's reality. Passive income can come from investments like stocks, index funds that pay dividends, rental properties, or from systems that you create, a business that runs without you, or online products or royalties from a product. It usually takes hard work up front to set up these passive streams, so don't think it's free money. But once they're running, they free up your time. Even having a little extra cash trickle in every month gives you breathing room. So imagine waking up to find you earned $100 overnight. Now imagine $1,000 or $10,000. The goal is to decouple your time from your money. Start building something today that pays you tomorrow, next week, next year. That's real financial freedom. Law number 10, never stop learning. The moment you think you know it all, your bank account will prove you wrong. The wealthy are students of wealth, constantly reading, attending seminars, picking up new skills. 88% of rich people devote at least 30 minutes a day to learning through reading. They read biographies, business books, industry news, not gossip, not junk. They treat their mind as $1 million asset that compounds just like money. If you want to get rich, adopt a growth mindset. Invest in courses, find mentors, seek feedback. My core philosophy is believe. Believe that you can learn and improve. And I try to live this. In the early days, I studied Bill Gates and other successful people to model their strategies. And that learning led directly to my big breakthrough. So ask yourself daily, what can I learn today that will make me more valuable tomorrow? Every new skill or insight is money in the bank, just a bank you can't see yet. Stay curious and humble. The more you learn, the more you earn. Law number 11, your network is your net worth. You can't do it alone, and you shouldn't try. The people you surround yourself with will make or break your success. Jim Rohn famously said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So take a look around. If your 5 closest friends are broke, negative, and complacent, guess where you're headed? Successful people consciously build success circles. They hang out with other winners. One study found the rich intentionally seek optimistic, goal-oriented peers. Why? Because environment matters. Conversations with high achievers will spark ideas, opportunities, and higher standards in you. On the other side, toxic, pessimistic people will drag you down to their level. This doesn't mean cut off loved ones. It means spend time strategically. Find mentors who've achieved what you want. Join entrepreneur groups, mastermind calls, online communities of goal-getters. Upgrade your network and you'll upgrade your net worth. It's practically automatic. Remember, birds of a feather flock to the bank together. Law number 12. Don't do it alone. Ask for help and mentorship. So pride and secrecy keep people poor. I learned this the hard way. In my startup days, I was making $300 a month and was too embarrassed to tell anyone how much I was struggling. I thought I had to fake success or go solo, and it nearly broke me. The truth is, successful people ask for help all the time. They hire coaches, they seek mentors, they gather teams of advisors. Ego can be expensive. If you're too proud to admit what you don't know, you will cap your growth. In fact, 82% of small businesses fail due to cash flow problems, often because the founder didn't seek financial advice or delegate when they should have. So don't let that be you. Find someone who has been where you want to go and learn from them. And if you're in a crisis, reach out instead of suffering in silence. Don't do it alone because you'll probably fail. You'll quit along the way because it's too devastatingly lonely. The right help at the right time can save your business and your sanity. Success is a team sport, so play it that way. Law number 13, reinvest your profits. So when money does start coming in, it's tempting to celebrate. I made it, let's spend. But the wealthy think differently. They plow money back into growth. Warren Buffett insists on this. When you first make money, you may be tempted to spend it. Don't. Instead, reinvest the profits. Whether it's profits from your business or returns from stocks, feed it back into your wealth machine. This is how small ventures become empires. I did this with my first company. When we landed our first deal, I didn't go buy a car. I poured in the scale in the business, which later allowed me to sell and truly cash in. Reinvesting is how Buffett turned a pinball machine side hustle into a stock portfolio. Each round of profits bought more assets, which produced even more profit. It's a cycle. Earn, invest, earn more. On the flip side, if you spend all you make, you kill the compound growth and go back to zero. So celebrate your wins, yes, but then put that money back to work. Delay the gratification a little longer and watch your wealth snowball. Law number 14, take calculated risks and embrace failure. No risk, no reward. It's a cliche, but it's true. Getting rich will require you to step out of your comfort zone. So start that business, invest in that property, pitch that big client, even when there's no guarantee of success. In fact, you will screw up along the way, and that is okay. 63% of millionaires admit they took risk and failed at least once in business. But here's the difference. They didn't see failure as the end. It was just data. They learned and kept moving. As the saying goes, winners are not afraid of losing, but losers are. Failure is part of the process of success. People who avoid failure also avoid success. And that was one of the hardest lessons for me. I was afraid to look stupid, to ask dumb questions, to lose money on a strategy that might not work. But every failure, eating beans for lunch for years, failed product launches, interviews that tanked, that taught me something that eventually led to a huge win. So don't be reckless. Do your homework and take calculated risks. But when you feel fear, don't let it stop you. Often that fear is a sign that you're on the right track. Bet on yourself, and if you fall, get back up smarter. Law number 15, be patient. Wealth takes time. We live in a world of instant gratification, but building real wealth is a long game. Too many people try one thing for 6 months, don't become millionaires, and then quit or jump onto the next fad. Don't fall for the get-rich-quick trap. The truth is, most millionaires get rich slowly. In one study, 80% of millionaires were over 50. It took them decades of consistent effort to hit 7 figures. Saver investors took an average of 32 years to reach millionaire status. Even fast-track entrepreneurs took 12 years on average. The media loves to highlight the 22-year-old crypto billionaires, but that's the exception, not the rule. Embrace the process. Commit to the long haul. This doesn't mean it has to take 30 years for you. The timeline can accelerate with smart decisions, but it won't happen overnight. Set longer-term goals and keep grinding. Remember, compound interest needs time to work its magic. That's law number 7. Each of you persist, your knowledge, your network, and your assets compound too. Patience isn't just a virtue in wealth building, it's a strategic advantage. Law number 16, leverage. Multiply yourself through others. Here's a harsh truth. You will never get truly wealthy trading only your own time and effort. There are only 24 hours in a day and only one of you. The rich scale up by leveraging other people's time, their talent, their resources. That means hiring, delegating, automating, building a team and systems that make money even when you're not personally doing the work. So I learned this in running my YouTube channel. For years, I was in front of the camera, I was behind the camera, I was doing everything myself, and I was hesitant to spend money on help. I grew up without a ton of money, and maybe I was too cheap at first, but once I hired hired my first part-time editor, boom, I went from 1 video a week to 1 a day, which then brought in more money. Leverage. Similarly in business, the moment I started bringing in partners and employees who are smarter than me in their areas, our growth started to explode. According to research, over 80% of millionaires rely on a team of smart people, attorneys, accountants, advisors, to help achieve their vision. So ask yourself, what tasks or expertise can you leverage from others to scale up? It could be as simple as hiring a virtual assistant for $10 an hour to free you up to make $100 an hour, or partnering with someone who has skills or contacts that you lack. Yes, it can cost money to hire good people, but not hiring when you need to is far costlier. Build your dream team. Law number 17, take action. Speed beats perfection. The money goes to those who do, not those who wait. One thing I see holding entrepreneurs back is analysis paralysis. They plan and polish and procrastinate, and opportunities pass them by. The wealthy have a bias for action. They do the best research they can, then pull the trigger. Jeff Bezos calls it the bias for action and credits much of Amazon's success to it. Warren Buffett calls unnecessary waiting thumb sucking and pushes himself to make decisions swiftly when he has enough facts. The point is, you can't steer a parked car. You have to start moving. Want to invest in stocks? Open the account and put in a small amount today. Learn as you go. Have a business idea? Launch a simple version of it right now, even if it's not perfect. You will refine through real-world feedback. Money loves speed, not reckless, stupid speed, but the momentum that comes from decisive action. Action precedes clarity. So the law is, do it before you feel 100% ready. An average plan executed today beats a perfect plan never executed. Start, stumble, learn, adjust, but start. Law number 18, know your numbers, track your money. You wouldn't drive a car blindfolded, right? So don't drive your finances that way too. Ignorance is extremely expensive. Wealthy people are keenly aware of their numbers. They know their income, their expenses, their profit margins, their tax liabilities, the investment returns, at least the key figures at all times. You need to become the CFO of your own life. You make a budget, update it regularly, and review where your money is going. You can use apps or spreadsheets, chalk on a board, whatever works for you, but track it. If you're an entrepreneur, this is even more critical because poor cash flow management kills 82% of small businesses. When I started, I used Microsoft Money software to track my business finances, and my early accounting was a total disaster until I learned how to prioritize it. And once I did, I found ways to save on taxes and get unexpected refunds that boosted my cash flow. That's the reward for paying attention. The law here is what gets measured gets managed. When you track, you naturally start optimizing. You spot wasteful spending. You find opportunities to save or invest, and you avoid nasty surprises. So open those bank statements, know your credit score, set a weekly date with your money. Yes, I'm serious. Your bank account should never be a mystery. Law number 19, give and you shall receive. This might sound more spiritual, but it's hard-nosed success strategy too. Generosity breeds prosperity. The wealthiest people I know are givers. They donate to charities. They mentor others. They create opportunities for the people that are around them. Why? Because what you put out into the world comes back to you multiplied. Zig Ziglar said it best. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. And it's true. When you operate from a mindset of service and generosity, you build an army of allies. People open doors for you. Clients refer to you. Your reputation starts to shine. Even on a practical level, generosity expands your network and skills. So volunteer in an organization and meet influential people. Mentor someone and you often learn from the teaching. Also, giving keeps you humble and hungry. It reminds you that wealth has a purpose to improve lives, including your own. And here's a little secret. Giving money away can actually make you feel wealthier. It breaks the fear that money is scarce. Of course, be smart. Don't give beyond your means, but make generosity a line item in your life. It could be money or time or knowledge. Nearly 3 of 4 millionaires in a study volunteered at least 5 hours a month, and many actively mentored others. Coincidence? I don't think so. The more you give, the more you grow. It's a law. And law number 20, stay humble and stay hungry. Money is a moving target. The game doesn't end when you hit some magic number. To not only get rich, but to stay rich, you must keep your ego in check and your drive alive. Success can be a sedative the moment you think, I've made it. You start to slip. Remember Bill Gates' warning, success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. So don't fall for that trap. The greats, the Buffetts, the Oprahs, they never stop learning. They never stop pushing. They act like beginners even when they are masters. For me, the belief game never ends. Despite all the subscribers and the business, I still wake up as a student. I still want to get better every day. So celebrate your wins, yes, but stay curious and grounded. Keep setting the next goal, setting the next challenge. And importantly, stay grateful. Humility also means recognizing the role that others have played and some luck in your success. It keeps you from doing something dumb and losing it all out of arrogance. The hungry, humble entrepreneur will run circles around the complacent one who's resting on his laurels. Money has a way of disappearing from those who take it for granted. So no matter how well you're doing, adhere to these laws. Keep growing, keep giving, and keep believing. A quick final thought. You've just learned 20 laws, but knowledge alone won't change your life. Action will. Pick one law today and start living it. Maybe it's setting up that savings account. Maybe it's calling that mentor. Maybe it's finally launching that product. Remember, every big success is just an accumulation of small, consistent wins. You showing up for this, absorbing these strategies, that already sets you apart from the masses who are still looking for easy answers. And so I want to acknowledge you for being here right now and investing in yourself. Now get out there and do the work. Apply these laws and build the wealth and life that you deserve. Now let's learn how to turn your hobby into a career. Keeping your passion as just a hobby is a waste of your potential. Think about it. Most people, they slave away to jobs that they hate, suppressing the things they love. No wonder they feel stuck and unhappy. If you never act on your passion, you risk waking up at 80 with nothing but regret. The regret of knowing that you never even tried. Take Walt Disney as an example. Walt started out drawing cartoons for fun, sketching animated figures in his spare time. At 18, he landed a job as a cartoonist, but he wasn't satisfied with just drawing for someone else. He had a bigger vision. He turned his doodles into an empire, starting his own studio and growing it into the Disney we know today. Imagine if Walt had played it safe and kept art as a side gig. We might not have Mickey Mouse, no Disneyland, none of it. His hobby became his legacy because he had the courage to go all in. Now, a personal story from my own life. Years ago, I fell in love with salsa dancing. I started as the tall, awkward guy with 2 left feet. I didn't speak Spanish. I was a slow learner, but I kept at it week after week. Salsa wasn't my job. I did it because I loved it, and it changed my life. I met my wife through salsa. It became a huge part of who I am. Fast forward a few years later, the owner of my salsa studio decided to move on, and the community we built was at risk, so I couldn't let that happen. So I bought the studio. Yeah, a guy who started as the worst student in class ended up owning Canada's largest salsa dance studio. Why? Because salsa was more than just a hobby. It was a passion that I was willing to invest in. And that little hobby now impacts tens of thousands of people, even doubles as my film studio for my videos during the day. I turned my hobby into a business that serves my community and brings me joy every single day. So you might be thinking, okay, that's great for you, Evan, but my hobby can't pay the bills. Or what if turning it into a job ruins the fun? I hear you. It's scary. That's legitimate. You worry about money. You're about failing, about losing that spark. But what if you never try? What if you keep dragging yourself to a mediocre job and only dabbling in your passions on the weekends? That's a recipe for a mediocre life. Turning your hobby into your career doesn't kill the passion. It doesn't have to. It can amplify it. Yes, it will be work, and not every day will be amazing and sunshine and rainbows, but it's meaningful work fueled by something that you actually care about. And that beats any soul-sucking job any day of the week. And guess what? People are making it happen every day. If someone else with a camera or an oven or a paintbrush can turn their passion into a thriving business, why not you? The only difference is they said yes to their dreams while others say no. So, are you ready to say yes? Let's talk about how to actually do it, how to transform that hobby of yours into a real career, step by step. Here we go. Step number 1, stop calling it just a hobby. Shift your mindset. So you have to believe that your hobby can be your career. Step 1 is an identity shift. Stop treating it like a cute little side interest and start treating it like it matters. If you don't take your passion seriously, nobody else will. Think of Alicia Schaefer, a mom of 3 who loved making boho chic designs. She started out crafting in her kitchen at first and selling on Etsy. At first, it was just a fun side hustle. Then she had a mindset shift. I decided to stop treating it like a hobby and start treating it like a business, she said. The result, she became Etsy's top seller, pulling in as much as $60,000 to $80,000 a month with her handmade products. That happened because she believed her hobby was worth something and committed to it like a professional. I had to learn this myself. Some of you know my story. I started a website in my 20s of sharing lessons from successful entrepreneurs. And that site started to blow up. We had 100,000 plus pages of content and even Big names started writing for us. On paper, it was a success, but I woke up one day and realized I no longer loved it. It had turned into a content factory, just chasing ad dollars, not the mission-driven project that I envisioned. Meanwhile, I was getting more excited about making YouTube videos, reaching people more directly, having more fun with it. So I made a bold decision. I just shut down my big website overnight, and I moved my entire focus to YouTube. People thought I was insane. They said, Evan, you walked away from a sure thing to chase a hobby on YouTube. What are you doing? But I didn't see it as crazy. In my mind, it was more risky to stay stuck doing something that I didn't like anymore. Why keep investing in a business that my heart wasn't in just because it made some money? I'd rather take my shot doing what I loved. And I told people walking away from something you don't like towards something you do is the opposite of risky. And you know what? That decision to treat YouTube, my passion for creating video content, as my real business changed my life. The channel that you're watching now only exists because I had the courage to put my passion first. So step one for you is internal. Own the identity. You're not just a hobbyist. You're a baker, an artist, a coder, an educator, whatever your hobby is. Start calling yourself that. Carry yourself like it's already your career. This isn't about fake it until you make it. It's about being it so you can become it. And psychology backs us up. When you identify deeply with a role or mission, you behave differently. You show up with purpose. You keep going when others would quit. And the world needs people who are alive with passion. One of my mom's favorite pieces of wisdom for me was, if you have the ability, you have the responsibility. If you can, then you must. And I carried that into my mission. If I can help somebody with something I love, then I have to. Your hobby lights you up for a reason. It's pointing you to your purpose. So embrace it fully. Decide that you're going pro in your passion. That decision alone sets everything else in motion for you. Step number 2, start before you're ready. Overcome perfectionism. So stop waiting for permission or for the perfect plan and just start. This is where so many aspiring entrepreneurs, they fall apart. I know, because I stumbled here too. We want everything to be just right. We don't want to launch until the stars align and success is guaranteed, right? Newsflash, that day will never come. Perfect is an illusion, and waiting for perfect is a dream killer. So let me share 2 quick stories. First, back in my 20s, my software company almost had a huge exit. This deal would have been $40 million to us. Life-changing money for me at that age. But guess what? We missed it. Why? Because I was obsessing over details and planning instead of taking action. So I spent an entire summer writing and polishing our business plan. Meanwhile, a competitor, they got out there and they built relationships. And when the big opportunity came, they were ready and we weren't. And that competitor got acquired for $40 million, not us. And I'll be honest, that really stung. I remember saying I lost a $40 million deal because I was trying to make things perfect. It was a tough pill to swallow, but also an incredibly valuable lesson. And I'm still a recovering perfectionist. And I realized that a half-assed plan that you act on is better than a perfect plan that you never execute. Most of your precious plan is going to be wrong anyway once it meets reality. You've got to get in the game and adapt on the fly. And my perfectionism cost me a once-in-a-lifetime deal. And I vowed to never let fear of not being perfect slow me down again. Second story, my YouTube channel. So fun fact, I created the channel in 2008, but I was so nervous about getting it right that I didn't upload my first video until April 2009. I sat on it for months. Why? Perfectionism. I told myself I needed a professional videographer, a script, the right suit. And I did all that for my first video. It took me an entire day to record I forget how many minutes video because I kept overthinking every line. I was so stiff and unnatural, trying to be perfect, and looking back, it's cringy, but I posted it. And you know what? I had 3 comments in the first year, my mom, my older sister, and some random person. But that experience taught me just to press record and post, even if it's ugly. If I hadn't broken through that perfectionism, I'd probably still be sitting here planning my perfect video instead of having 10,000 videos and 4 million subscribers. So I call myself a recovering perfectionist now because that tendency never fully goes away. You just learn to override it with action. So I want you to override your perfectionism starting today. Start before you feel ready. Launch an Etsy shop, even if your product line isn't 100% polished. Post that video, even if your video could be better. Tell your first 5 clients that you are open for business, even if you're still figuring things out. Yes, You might stumble. It will definitely be messy, but you'll learn more from one real step forward than 6 months of theory crafting in your living room. Psychologists even have a term for getting stuck in planning mode: analysis paralysis. You think you're being diligent, but really you're just procrastinating because you're scared. So let's call it what it is. Perfectionism is just fear in fancy shoes. You're afraid of being judged or failing, so you dress it up as I'm not ready yet. So I'm giving you a loving kick forward right now. You are ready enough. You don't need to know everything to begin. You'll figure it out as you go, I promise. Action creates clarity. As you start, you'll refine your strategy in real time. The big company you admire, they started in a garage with a clunky prototype. My first videos were terrible, but you can't get to video number 100 without making a few awkward ones first. So get version 1.0 out there. Embrace the motto, progress over perfection. Your mantra is launch and then adjust. This is how every successful entrepreneur turns a hobby into a career. They start. They launch that Etsy shop, the YouTube channel, the small weekend catering gig. It might flop or it might fly, but either way, you learn and you move forward. As the saying goes, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to become great. So do it now, do it imperfectly, but do it. Step number 3, share your passion and ask for help. Don't go it alone. Turning your hobby into a business is hard, but doing it alone is almost impossible. You need to build a support network around your passion. So that means sharing your journey. It means connecting with others. It means asking for help when you need it. And this step is both practical and mental. Practical because opportunities come through people. Mental because it forces you to shed the lone wolf mentality that might be holding you back. And I'll admit, this is a tough one for me. I still have a hard time asking for help. I'm an introvert. Reaching out is not my natural tendency. And especially in the early days of my startup, I was too embarrassed to tell anyone that I was struggling. I was making $300 a month, felt like a complete failure, but I kept it all inside. I thought I have to figure this out on my own. And that was a huge mistake. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Don't do it alone because you'll probably fail. You'll quit along the way because it's too devastatingly lonely. And that's the truth. When you're grinding in isolation, every setback hits you harder and every doubt becomes louder. I almost quit on my business because I felt so alone in it. The moment that I finally swallowed my pride and I asked for advice from a mentor, things started to turn around. I learned that asking for help is not a weakness. It's actually just a success strategy. So let me give you a quick story to show how important this is. A while back, I was on a flight to Puerto Rico to speak at an event. The guy next to me tried to chat, but I did my usual introvert thing. I put on my headphones and basically sent a leave me alone vibes. Small talk on a plane is like my worst nightmare. I'm thinking, please don't let this stranger talk to me. So we fly in silence. And when we land, I see the same guy checking in at the hotel for the entrepreneur mastermind that I was speaking at. And turns out he was exactly my kind of person, an entrepreneur headed to the same event. And we could have had a great 2-hour conversation on that flight, sharing ideas, maybe forming a friendship or some kind of partnership, who knows? But I shut the door on that before it even opened. I remember standing there thinking, wow, I literally avoided a golden opportunity because I was too shy to say hello. So lesson learned. Now I try to engage even just a little because you never know who's sitting next to you. Maybe your future business partner, maybe your next investor, or simply a friend who understands your journey. So what does it mean for you? Find your people. If your hobby is baking cupcakes, join a local bakers club or an online forum for baking entrepreneurs. If you love coding, go to hackathons or meetups. If you're a dancer, start hanging around dance studios or in online dance communities. Get yourself in the mix where others share that passion, and then open your mouth. Share what you're doing. Tell your friends and family that you're starting a business. Yes, that can be vulnerable. You're effectively saying, I'm trying something big and I could fail. But you'll be surprised how many people will cheer you on or introduce you to someone or give you that one idea or client that kicks things off. And please, get comfortable asking for help. This is still one of my biggest growth points. Even after I've had some success, I still struggle with asking. But funny story, a few years ago, a friend of the channel, Brendan Burchard, invited me to his mastermind at his house. And I walk in and I'm surrounded by all these legends, people that I look up to, and part of me feels like I didn't belong. And at one point, Brendan noticed that I was being quiet and he called me out in a kind way. And he said, Evan, you give so much to people, you gotta make sure you come up with an ask. What do you need help with? And he pushed me to receive, not just to give. And that was uncomfortable for me, but I did it. And I asked that group for advice on growing my YouTube channel and on my book. and dealing with some self-doubts that I had. And guess what? The feedback I got was pure gold. And one idea from that room saved me months of trial and error. And it reinforced for me that entrepreneurship is a team sport. Even if you're a solo entrepreneur, you need mentors, your peers, your cheerleaders along the way. Don't isolate, communicate, show your passion to the world. If you keep it hidden, no one else can help you, and you might miss connections. You will miss connections that will change your life. Collaboration and community will carry you further than you can carry yourself. So ask yourself, who can I reach out to this week for support or for feedback? What forum or group can I join? Who out there is doing what I want to do, and how can I connect with them? Don't let pride or fear of rejection stop you. Most people love to talk about their shared passions. They'll be happy to help an enthusiastic newbie because it reminds them of why they started too. So send that email, attend that meetup, comment on that fellow creator's post. You never know where one hello might lead. Step number 4, be patient and persist. Play the long game. Turning your hobby into a full-fledged career will take time. There's almost no way around this. The overnight success is a myth. Most overnight successes were grinding in the dark for years. So commit to the long game. That means staying patient and, more importantly, staying persistent when your progress is slow. So reality check from my own journey. People see my YouTube channel now with the millions of subscribers, etc., and think I have some sort of magic touch. They don't see that for years I was shouting into what felt like the void. It took me 5 years on YouTube to crack 2,000 subscribers, 5 years of what some would consider a failure of a number. But in another 5 years, I got to 1 million. But that's a decade of work to get to what creators can potentially get in a year. And in the first few years, my subscriber growth was so slow that I thought I'd be 90 years old before I'd ever get a gold play button. I remember uploading videos, I got 30 views and 50 views. And it's hard not to compare yourself to others when they're blowing past you. But I just had a mindset shift that saved me. I stopped obsessing over the numbers and started celebrating the people. I told myself, okay, 50 people watched this video, but 50 people took the time out of their day to hear my message. Imagine I was giving a speech at a local library and 50 people showed up to listen. I'd be thrilled. And so that perspective changed everything. I started focusing on who I was serving instead of who I wasn't. So instead of feeling like, oh, only a few dozen views, I felt grateful and energized to help those few dozen people. I focused on serving the audience I did have, not the audience that I didn't. And slowly those 50 turned into 100 and then 1,000 and then 1 million. And what kept me going in the dark days was purpose and love for the process. So I generally enjoy making videos. And I was on a mission to solve a problem that I struggle with myself, lack of belief. And mentorship for entrepreneurs. Even when the external rewards were small, the internal rewards were there. I was growing, I was learning, I was getting better in my field, my craft, the videos. You must find that same well of patience and persistence. Expect that the first year or two might be slow. That's normal. It's okay. Do not quit your passion just because it's not printing money immediately or because your Etsy shop only got a few sales in your first month. If you truly love it and you see even a glimmer of impact, keep going. Adjust your approach maybe, but don't give up on the whole game. I'll give you an example from my own persistence. My salsa business partner, Alex. When Alex started as a dance student at my studio, he was awful. I mean it. The guy was the worst student in the class. And we have a system for if you're not ready to move to the next level, you get held back to repeat the level. Now, it's actually pretty rare. Like almost nobody gets that. Less than 1% of students ever get held back. But Alex was held back at almost every level. Can you imagine that? Most people would have been so embarrassed they quit after the first time. But Alex loved dancing. He didn't care if he wasn't a natural. He kept showing up. He actually thanked us for holding him back because it meant that he could continue to improve on his fundamentals of dancing. And that mindset, what blew me away, was awesome. Fast forward, after being our most persistently terrible student, Alex eventually improved. He started assisting classes, then teaching. And today, Alex is our head instructor who helps run the dance studio. He had a career in sales and he left it to pursue dancing. Talk about turning a hobby into a career. He literally went from the worst in the class to leading the entire school. How? Through grit, through showing up, even when it was hard and humbling. That's the power of persistence. And science backs this up too. Psychologists have a term, grit, coined by Angela Duckworth, which is basically the mix of passion and perseverance. Studies have shown that grit, which is just sticking with something that you care about over the long term, is a better predictor of success than talent or IQ. What does that mean? It means that if you're consistent and you keep improving, you can surpass the naturally talented people who just give up early. Consistency beats intensity every time. I take the everyday hustler over the 1 week genius any day. So Commit to a process. Give yourself time to succeed. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow and live in your car while you wait for your hobby business to bloom, right? Be smart financially, build it on the side if you have to, but emotionally, you need to give this endeavor some patience. Set a longer horizon. I'm going to give this my all for 3 years instead of 3 weeks. When setbacks happen, and they will, remember why you're doing this. We'll get to that in the next step. But remind yourself that every master was once a disaster. Every pro was once an amateur. Your slow progress is not a sign of failure. It's an indicator that you're on your journey. As long as you don't stop, you're still in the game. And sometimes slow growth is setting you up for explosive growth later. My channel crawled for years and then boom, it started to take off. And those early years were absolutely necessary to build my foundation, my skills, my content library. If I'd quit in year 3 or year 4, you wouldn't be watching this right now. And one more tip, celebrate those small wins. Did you make your first $100 from your art? Awesome. Take a picture of that PayPal notification. Did you get your first client testimonial? Amazing. Frame it on your wall. Treat these little victories as breadcrumbs that lead you forward. Cherish them. They'll keep you positive and motivated while you wait for the bigger break to come. Step number 5, stay connected to your why. Make it about purpose, not just profit. So as you turn your hobby into a career, there will be a point where it starts to feel like work. Anytime you monetize something, there's pressure. Now there's deadlines, there's customers, there's finances that enter the mix. And the danger is you can get so caught up in the business side that you forget why you loved it in the first place. So to prevent this burnout and truly succeed, you need to anchor in your purpose. Keep it mission-driven, not just money-driven. Don't get me wrong, you absolutely should aim to make money, and lots of it. Money is a fantastic servant. It gives you freedom, it validates that you're providing value, but money cannot be the only reason that you're doing this. If it is, the first rough patch, you're gonna quit. When the money is lean or the sales aren't coming in, you'll have no reason to continue. But if you have a deeper why, a mission, you'll push through walls to see it happen. So for me, that mission was baked into why I started creating content for entrepreneurs. Remember my first company struggle? How much pain I went through trying to build a business as a clueless 19-year-old. I felt so alone and so close to quitting so many times that I eventually survived and sold my startup, but it was brutally hard. And that pain became my purpose. I thought, if I can make it even a little bit easier for the next entrepreneur in my shoes, I should. Your purpose comes from your pain. I like to say that. The thing that hurt you or challenges that you overcame is exactly what you can help others with. So my hobby of consuming entrepreneur stories, tips, strategies that turn into a mission to share those with the world so others don't have to struggle as much. That's what kept me going in those early years of creating content for basically no one. I wasn't driven by ad revenue or fame. I was driven by the thought that maybe one video could save an aspiring entrepreneur from quitting. That meant something to me. And guess what? That's exactly what ended up happening. I started getting emails and comments from people saying things like, Evan, your video kept me from giving up on my business, or this interview inspired me to finally start my dream. And that became motivation for my soul, right? So connect your hobby to service. Ask yourself, how does doing this passion as a career help others or impact the world positively? So if you're a musician, maybe your music brings joy or helps people feel seen. If you're making something, your products might bring people comfort or confidence. If you turn your baking hobby into a bakery, you're not just selling cupcakes, you're giving people moments of happiness and celebration. You tie your work to something that matters. Debbie Fields, who founded Mrs. Fields Cookies, said it perfectly. Once you find something you love to do, be the best at doing it. And she also said, the greatest failure is to not try. Her deeper purpose was spreading joy through cookies and proving naysayers wrong. And it drove her to build a cookie empire. Another part of purpose is keeping your own passion alive. So protect the love you have for your hobby. Sometimes when it becomes a business, you might start doing aspects you don't enjoy, like paperwork and marketing, etc. And that's normal, but always make time to reconnect with the fun, the creative part that made you start in the first place. So I like to tell creators, make sure that you're still creating things for you, not just for the algorithm or the market. So in my case, I still make videos on topics I'm personally curious about or struggling with, not just what I think will get views. I thought this was an important video. We'll see how it does, but I wanted to make it because I thought it was important personally. I make content that I need to hear, and it turns out that a lot of people need to hear it too sometimes. And that keeps me engaged and growing too, personally. It's also okay to evolve your vision as you grow. So maybe your hobby career opens new opportunities. Great. Follow the ones that actually excite you. just always do check-ins. Does this still align with what you care about? If you ever find yourself feeling like your passion business is becoming soulless, pause, refocus, remember why you started. Maybe even write down a mission statement or a simple sentence of why you do what you do and put it on your wall. Make it somewhere in front of you. When things get tough or confusing, look at it. That why will help you cut through the noise and reset you on the right path. And one more thing. Acknowledge yourself for the courage it takes to do this. Seriously, most people will never even attempt to turn their hobby into a career. It takes guts, it takes belief. By even trying, by putting yourself out there, you're already in the elite minority of people who are trying to live life on their own terms. And that is actually something to be really proud of, no matter what stage you're at. So use that as positive reinforcement. You're doing what most only daydream about. So keep going. Your hobby can become your career. And when it does, it's one of the most fulfilling feelings in the world. You wake up excited to work. You give it more energy and love, and that translates into better results. And people will feel that energy. Your customers will sense that you genuinely care about what you're doing, and they'll support you because of it. And in turn, you're making a living, or maybe even a fortune, doing what you love. And that's the win-win outcome that we're after. You're happy, and you're making others happy or solving their problems too. And you get paid for it along the way. It's a beautiful cycle. And it all starts with the decision to take your hobby seriously and go for it. Now, I've given you a roadmap here: mindset, action, community, patience, purpose. These 5 steps are not one and done. You'll revisit them often, but if you follow them, you will be miles ahead of where you are now. So remember Walt Disney or Alicia Schaefer or my friend Alex, their success didn't happen by accident or overnight. It happened because they dared to believe in their little hobbies and stuck with them. You can do the same. Do one thing that moves your dream forward right now. It doesn't matter if it's small. The journey of 1,000 miles, right? One step. You've got this. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And your future self is already smiling back at you saying, thank you for starting. Thank you for watching, and more importantly, for being the type of person who actually wants to do something with their life. Most people won't even make it this far into a video like this, but you did, which tells me that you're serious. You're building that belief and that knowledge, and now turn that knowledge into action. To learn 26 years of brutally honest business advice, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. Most of what you've been taught about success is designed to keep you safe, not to 10x your life. Over the next 3 hours, we are stripping away the theories and looking at the raw, unfiltered reality of what it takes to build something from nothing.